Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I will detail a story of how a friendship turned deadly. The Rollin 20 Crips are a notorious Crip gang in the city of Long Beach, California. The city often gets mentioned as being a Crip city, and the Rollin 20 Crips are a premier Crip gang and one of the biggest in Long Beach. The gang is located on the east side of Long Beach off the Pacific Coast Highway, from 10th Street to 21st Street. The 20 Crips have several rivals, like one of the other bigger Crip gangs in the city, being the Insane Crips, which have become a top rival. Both gangs shared a close relationship at a point, but that soured by the 80s, and this war became deadly, with the Rollin 20s claiming territory south of 21st Street, and the Insanes claiming territory north of 21st Street, making them rivals from each other just down the street. They're also deadly rivals of the Longos, a Hispanic gang that fused with majority black, Polynesian, and Asian gangs in Long Beach. But sometimes, your enemies from other gangs are not the only people you need to worry about. Sometimes it's your own homies from your own hood. And that leads us to this story. Jerome and Jamal were close friends. They both were also from the Rollin 20 Crips. In April of 2013, they just so happened to also be dating sisters Tony and Taquasha. Jerome had a young son with Tony, and Jamal just started dating Taquasha. On April 20th, 2013, the two couples attended a funeral together. After the funeral, they arrived back at Taquasha's house. Jerome and Jamal then left in Tony's car for a few hours. When they came back, Taquasha and Jamal dropped Jerome off at his house. Later, Jamal called Jerome accusing him of taking his PlayStation. Jerome believed Jamal had agreed to let him borrow it. Taquasha drove Jamal to a house the Rollin 20 used as a hangout on Phillip Street, where he would pick up the PlayStation from Jerome. Jerome gave the PlayStation to Jamal, who exited the car and began a fight with Jerome. Jamal quickly knocked Jerome to the ground. Jerome then shot Jamal approximately 14 times when Jamal tried to get back in the car. Taquasha was driving the car. She flagged down nearby officers who were conducting an unrelated investigation. The officers rushed Jamal to a hospital, where he was pronounced dead. He was only 18 years old. Officers returned to Phillip Street, where they took Jerome, who was 20, into custody. He was booked under suspicion of murder and was being held at Long Beach City Jail without bail. At trial, Taquasha, Jerome, and an eyewitness testified. Jerome admitted to shooting Jamal, but testified it was in self-defense. He said he knew Jamal had a temper and had committed violent crimes. Jerome also knew Jamal kept a gun in the car and believed he was trying to reach for his gun after the fight. Taquasha testified they drove her aunt's car to get the PlayStation because her own car began to overheat earlier in the day. She also testified Jerome warned Jamal prior to the fight, "Wait a minute, let me put my gun down." After the fight, Taquasha heard Jerome say to Jamal, "Is that how you gonna do me? Is that how you gonna do me?" before shooting him. The medical examiner testified that Jamal had alcohol, PCP, and weed in his system at the time of his death. The defense argued in closing that Jamal had a reputation for violence, having committed violent crimes, and was known to carry a weapon. As a result, Jerome was justified in the shooting. The jury rejected Jerome's defense, finding him guilty of second-degree murder, and further finding he personally and intentionally discharged the firearm, which caused great bodily injury and death. Jerome was later sentenced to a total term of 60 years to life. Something as simple as a PlayStation ended a friendship and led to a death. This is just another unfortunate tale of the streets. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.